Hey folks, I'm Mike. Do you hate ads? I hate ads. You know what I like? Patreon.com/Inkdependence. It keeps this blog ad-free. Hello folks, welcome to Inkdependence.com. Today we're taking a look at this color. This is a KWZ ink, and I don't have a tremendous number of these, but Dromgoole was nice enough to hook me up with a few bottles of it for review. So thank you very much to the Dromgooles down in Houston, Texas. If you're in that area and haven't been to that store, hit that store because it is dope. These come in 60 ml bottles. They are made in Poland, as it says here, and they go for 15 bucks. So pretty decent price on these guys, and I found them to be really nice inks. This is the bottle it comes in. Nice glass bottle, big robust cap. Oh man, I could not get that loosened. There it is on the lid. And it does have a little bit of that characteristic KWZ vanilla smell. It doesn't have a whole lot. It's not nearly as strong as like the old KWZ honey and those sorts of things used to be. And I don't actually notice it. Let me smell a pen right quick. I don't know, maybe I can smell it just a touch from the actual nib, but on the paper, like, you're not gonna. But this is called Foggy Green, and as you can see, it's gonna be a super dark green. I really like that they label these with the actual like ink smear, and that it's a black bottle. I think that's pretty cool. That way you can, it protects the ink a little bit if you want to leave it on a shelf. I always keep it in the box just because that's extra UV protection. Okay, here's what the color looks like. And as expected, super duper dark green. The three colors that they gave me are all actually pretty darn dark. So this is Foggy Green. You've seen Warsaw Dreaming already, and I also have one called Gray Plum, I believe, coming up. And I haven't started using that one yet, but I will soon. And it's, man, this is a really nice looking ink, and I actually really like it out of two of the three pens I've got it in. So these are the three pens it's been rolling in so far. This is, of course, one of my favorite pens, the Diplomat Arrow. This one has a medium nib, it's a Yovo nib, and this ink works perfectly in this nib. It looks very nice and dark. It's kind of green, like super dark green. I think you can kind of tell it's a super dark green in there. I've also got it in this Diplomat Magnum, which has also got a medium nib, although it's a very different medium nib. It's a number 5-ish nib, and feels and looks a lot different. And you get a very similar kind of color out of there, which I really shouldn't be surprised by. And then lastly, I have it in this Vanishing Point. This Vanishing Point has a broad nib, and I'm like, well, let's give it a try. The thing is, it doesn't really want to work from this Vanishing Point nib. So Vanishing Points don't have a super great cap seal. As you can see, maybe, yeah, as you can see there, there's just like a little door that keeps this closed, and it's not a super tight seal, so it does tend to dry out in this nib, and it is hard to get going again because of the way the nib is in this, so it just hasn't been performing well. I'd say keep this ink out of your Vanishing Points. It's just, it's not going to harm it, but it's not going to be fun. But put it in a pen with a good cap seal, and both of these have good cap seals, and this ink will work very, very nicely for you. So let's look at it on a couple of papers right quick, because we've already seen it here on the Rhodia, where it looks very nice, and it works, I think, very well in two of these three nibs. You get a little bit of sheen sometimes, I say. You can see a little bit of it here. You can see a little bit of it here on this swatch card. So if you have a very wet nib, you're going to see a little bit of sheen maybe. But that's not really what's going on with this ink. It's just kind of a super dark green. Here on the 20-pound paper, here are the three samples. You can see this is that Vanishing Point. And man, it just really, it barely started working down here. Like, it just doesn't want to work. But you don't really see any feathers or anything. You do get a little bit of minor bleed on here from these heavier medium nibs. This one at the bottom is the Magnum. The one at the top here, I guess I should say middle of the two that actually worked. You get a few dots in this sort of thing. I think this one's actually just a little bit wetter than this one is. No, it's just vagaries of nibs, but some spotting, a little bit of mild bleed. Nothing too bad there. If you look at the currently inked notebook, this is wheat straw paper. This is Inky Fingers. Go check that out. Google up Inky Fingers currently inked, and you'll get some. You'll find a link to these. Here's what it ended up looking like on all three of these, and you can see that when this was freshly inked, it actually worked very nicely, and you get a lot of nice green character out of this one. So I'd try it in other broad nibs, I think, to get more green. If you want it to look more black and such, though, like it looks darn good, and it feels nice out of these two mediums. but it does look like almost a black. Then on Tomoe River, this is an ink journal, of course. You can find that on inkjournal.com. I have all three of them here as well. So here's the Magnum, and it looks kind of nice and shiny, but also black. And if you look here, this also looks pretty black, although it looks a little bit like, I don't know, it takes on a Tealy character for some reason. Tomoe River is a weird paper, man. And then here, of course, from that broad, which doesn't want to work usually, you get a very nice green. So if you want to see that green character, you're going to have to use something bigger than a medium. But yeah, that's the way it goes. All right, let's go ahead and do our water test right quick. Where's my pipette? Here it is. Let's put this on here. I'm not sure how this is going to work. Some of it's definitely coming loose already, you can tell. Let's give it a little bit of a shake. I don't want to give it too much of a shake. Oh, the words have been blacked out. Yikes. I don't think it's going to be particularly water resistant, but we'll see what's left over. You never know. Sometimes there's more left over than you think. All right, let's get this off of here. Always blot, never wipe. There we go. At least not if you want to keep anything intact at all. Yeah, no, it's not it's not water resistant even a little bit. You can still see what was written there, but pretty much everything came loose here on the paper towel. So yeah, no water resistance, less even than I was expecting, which was not much. So yep, not much at all. All right, let's look at a bunch of color comparisons and call it a day. So here we have KWZ Foggy Green, which came out really nice on this Colodex card. Check these out by my friend Anna over at Well Appointed Desk. As far as some comparisons, this is Papier Plume's Streetcar Green. I got this one from Papier Plume. This is part of their New Orleans collection, and this is a beautiful green, but it's definitely a lighter character. I think it's probably about the same hue, just less saturated. Papier Plume tends to be a bit less saturated. You've also got here Diamine Salamander, which is one of my favorite weird murky greens. And you can see this has a much more yellow character here than it does than Foggy Green does. I dig that color, but it's more clearly a green than it is a super dark blue-black. Or blue-black, green-black. Then here's Lamy Crystal Ink Peridot, which I also bought from Dromgoole's a while ago and reviewed. Definitely more emeraldy than these, but still pretty dark. Here's a new one that I've only used a little bit, and I'm actually really enjoying. This is Sailor Ink Studio 964, which is a gorgeous color. It's a little bit more on the emeraldy side, but it's getting toward that green-black area. We've also got Cult Pin's Deep Dark Green, which I think is pretty darn close, although probably, I don't know, I'm going to say it's pretty close. Maybe a little less black, but pretty darn close. I think more recognizably green in a pen. Then here we have Diamine's Green Black, which seems like it's pretty darn close, and it ought to be. They're both green blacks, pretty well baseline green blacks. Less black, perhaps. Foggy Green, man, very, very dark blue, green black. You want to say blue-black, because that's a much more normal sort of pink color. And then here we have Sailor Murai, which is a gorgeous swampy sort of green, a little bit lighter. So if you're looking for an ink that's going to look more green, but still have that very dark character, I'd say go for Murai over Foggy Green. If you're looking for one that's going to pass as a black, some people need that for an office setting. Foggy Green is real cool, and it feels really good on the nib. So like both of these are very nice. This one is, of course, a bit cheaper, and it comes in a bigger bottle, but it smells like vanilla. So like trade-offs, a little bit of column A, a little column B. All right, so there you go. This has been KWZ Foggy Green. Thank you very much, Dromgooles, for hooking me up with this bottle of ink to share and show off. I will see y'all in the next video. Peace out. Hit it.